The case may be set for a later hearing. And a sentencing investigation may be ordered to allow for probation if the accused background shows a clean criminal record. As the official reporter for a judge officiating over criminal matters, you may be responsible for recording the shorthand and transcribing pleas or sentences of the court. So you may be asked to do it. You know, hey, look, I need that plea or whatever, and well, he pled guilty. No, he pled not guilty. Well, we're going to need that transcribed to make sure, you know, what he said or whatever. Okay. So, in summing up, I mean, this was some of the things that we went over, some of the advantages of the official reporter. The official reporter receives a steady salary, a steady yearly salary with paid vacation, pension plan, health insurance, and other benefits. That is true. I mean, that is one of the way advantages of it. It's great. Reporters gain an excellent insight into the working of the legal system. They get a first-hand knowledge of the wheels of justice. So you get to know what a lot of the law is. I mean, you know, what is expected and, you know, what is not expected, what it takes to bring a case to trial, you know, stuff like that. So, I mean, you get to see a lot of the insight, you know, that you would think, well, I saw in Law and Order that they do this. Really? You know, it's not as glamorous as it is on TV a lot of times. A bond of trust exists between judges, lawyers, and court reporters that goes beyond the working environment. That is true. That is very true. I mean, you know, that's, you know, like I was telling you guys at the hierarchy, you know, to me that's what it goes. It's a judge, the court reporter, clerk, bailiffs, and it's not that no one's job is more important than the other. I mean, the judge is, but I mean, everybody's job is important, and everybody has a job to do, and that's, you know, kind of how everyone sees it. You know, as the judge is the main guy, and then you're next. So the court reporter's job is very important. Court reporting can be an exciting life where one meets highly influential people and important celebrities. You can, all the time. I mean, you never know who's going to be where. And I had a court reporter who took the divorce of Tim Duncan. Pretty neat, you know. So I mean, you get to see this guy and whatever, and you know, it's pretty cool. I mean, you get to meet all kinds of people for all kinds of different reasons, you know. So you get to meet some pretty cool people. The official reporter records many interesting, even history-making cases. That is true. One of the first cases that I took, actually, it was the first court case that I took. Was to go down and sit in court or whatever, and it was a multi-million-dollar oil case. It was like 18 attorneys on this case, 20 attorneys on this case, and it was nerve-wracking to say the least. I mean, you have all these people in there, and it's like, you know, trying to figure out, you know, speaker identifications for people, and everybody stays still and sit in the same place, and, you know, don't move, and trying to remember faces, and, you know, maybe ties, and, you know, a guy has certain hair or whatever, glasses, tall, short, curly hair, just anything, you know, just to kind of remember these guys. And it was a multi-million-dollar oil case, like I said, so it was pretty neat. The official reporter usually has a well-furnished office, and in some cases may be supplied all his or her equipment, including the computer and printer. I have an office down there. You know, a lot of the stuff is supplied to me. I have my own computer, my own printer, you know, and stuff like that. So I have a county computer that they give me, and I just kind of look up information that I need concerning, like, the case, maybe the style of the case, the court that it was filed in, the attorneys, proper spelling of the attorneys' names and stuff like that. So court reporting is a very satisfying job in which one sees immediate results. Absolutely. Absolutely. People respect your skill and talent and often are envious. They really are. You know, we have, you know, schools that come in on field trip days, and they come and sit in our court, and the first thing you want to know is, what does that guy do? What does that guy do? He takes everything down that's, you know, that's said in the court. Oh, man. You know, and then everybody comes over there. They want to see the machine and how the machine works. And, you know, back then, you know, we used to write on paper, so what I would do is I would ask the kids for their names, and I would write their names and then tear that little piece of paper off and give them their name. And they're like, what the heck is that? You know, whatever. And it was just pretty cool. I mean, that, you know, that somebody is that intrigued with what you do. You know, it's pretty cool. I mean, even some of the attorneys, some of the new attorneys are the same way. Say, man, what y'all do that's awesome. You know, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have gone to court reporting school. You know, and I tell them all the time, well, you should have stayed in school and gone past, you know, being an attorney and been a court reporter. But I mean, you know, I just kind of be funny with the attorneys or whatever. So.
That's what my son said. He was watching George Lopez yesterday, and they were, you know, when George Lopez's mother, they send her to court, and there's a court reporter there, and she has paper coming out. My son's like, "Is that what you're gonna do? Well, how come she has paper?" And I'm like, "Those are the old days."
Those were the old days.
Yeah.
Old days.
Oh.
Appointments may be protected by civil and civil service regulations. Yeah. Official reporting can be a very lucrative profession. What do you think? I'd say so. I mean, I like it. So, but I mean, it's not for everyone. You know, I mean, I have, you know, a female friend of mine who's a freelance reporter, and she said, I would never do it. And I've tried to get her to come down and sit in court, you know, to get her face known so that when new judges come on, she's like, absolutely not. But it's just not for her. You know, she enjoys the freedom of being able to take depositions whenever she wants to, write herself off the books whenever she wants to, you know. So it's kind of the freedom that you have. The disadvantages of an official reporter. In a large city, when a judge dies, resigns, or retires, a new judge may bring in another reporter, forcing the previous official reporter to seek other employment. That is true. Unfortunately, my court, my judge is appointed. So he was appointed by a panel of judges to hear these cases, and that's what we do. So my judge is appointed. Every other judge down there is elected, and they're elected for 4 years. You know, so every 4 years, you kind of have to worry about your job. So it's a great job. The pay is fantastic. Sometimes the hours are very good, you know, and, you know, you can make great money, but, I mean, you have to worry about your job every 4 years. So if your job doesn't get, if your judge doesn't get reelected, if he dies, you know, reassigned, you know, or whatever, I mean, the next judge coming in has the option to keep you or let the whole staff go. And sometimes there's some big turnovers, you know, on election years. So people are always, you know, hey man, well, what happened to so-and-so and his judge didn't win? Is the other judge coming in going to keep him or her? And, you know, what's going to happen? And, you know, it's a job, you know, so other people are always, and it's a great job. So other people are always, you know, hey man, you judge came in, you know,
So
they're always looking for other jobs.
You become a freelancer?
I'm sorry?
You become a freelancer if he doesn't keep you on board?
Yeah, or you can look for another job with another judge. You know, maybe somebody else won and, you know, well, hey man, I mean, that guy used to do work in our court. I can go talk to him, but then you take somebody else's job. You know, so sometimes it's a dog-eat-dog world. I mean, when it comes, you know, after an elected year. Yeah.
Is there a pool so that, I mean, like if you wanted to take a day off, if you needed to take a day off, where there's substitutes that can come in for
Yeah.
you?
We have what's called, and that's actually my title, I'm a swing reporter. And what we're supposed to do is kind of fill in whenever reporters are gone or whatever. I'm a swing reporter that's permanently assigned to that court. So I'm permanently assigned to that court, but my official designation is a swing reporter. I think there's 4 swing reporters now. And all they do is they just sit there and they just wait for somebody to call. And, you know, say I go on vacation for a week. I'm going to go to Vegas for a week or whatever. Hey, man, you know, I need somebody to fill in. Okay. So they call one of the swing reporters. You're going to sit in with Judge Montemayor for the week. Okay. And that's all they do. They just fill in wherever. So you may be in a criminal court one day. You may be in my court one day, which is Child Protective Services. They may send you to juvenile court the next day. You may be in probate court the next day, county court the next day. you have no idea where you're gonna be. But, I mean, it's all girls, there's 4 girls, so, I mean, they like it. Most of them like it. You know what, I'm somewhere different every day, I sit with different judges, I get to meet a whole bunch of different people, it's great. I kinda like the continuity. I like to know, you know what, I'm gonna be right here every day. I'm gonna sit with this judge every day, unless he's gone, you know, that we have a visiting judge. Like tomorrow, we have a visiting judge coming in, because my judge has to be at a seminar. But I know the judge coming in. So, but I know that I'm gonna be in my courtroom, and I know that we're gonna be hearing these cases, and I know that we have the same attorneys all the time. So it's pretty cool.
If you're hired as a swing reporter, is there ever a day where everyone's there and you don't have to fill in for anyone?
Mhm.
You're kind of like a freelancer.
Yeah. And they get paid the same as we do. They get paid the same salary that we do. But you may be in one court and call in, hey, you know what, I'm done, or what, you know what, they need you in juvenile. Pack your stuff, go to juvenile. They need you at juvenile court for a hearing. They're waiting on a reporter.
My mentor is one of the swing ones, and she's actually had to go to 2 different courts for like a morning and afternoon, depending on like, she was
Yeah.
in one and then somebody got sick and then she'd run over to another
Yeah.
one, so she's always on.
So if somebody gets sick and you just kind of sit in your office, hey, you know what, somebody just called in, they got sick, or their baby got sick and they had to go pick them up from school or whatever, go to the 73rd, or go to the 37th, or go to the 225th, or whatever. So you're just kind of on standby. And some people like that. I mean, they like the, you know, I didn't get called for 2 days. Sat in my office for 2 days and never got anything.
Do you get paid for being?
Yeah, it's the same.
You
You get a salary. It's the same
okay,
salary that we make.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They make the same salary that we do. So whether they work or not, they still get paid the same. They work hard though. They do work hard. A judge who replaces a previous employer may be much different from the former judge. Working conditions may be very different. I had no idea. You know, I knew the judge coming in when my judge left, so I was kind of fortunate. You know, I kind of knew him coming in. He's kind of a lax guy when it comes to, you know, like dress and stuff like that. So I knew that I was going to be okay there. But it's like, you have no idea what he's going to want to do. Hey, you know what? You need to be here at 7:30. We start at 8 o'clock. I want you here at 7:30, 7:45, ready to go. I'm going to start setting hearings, and the clerk knows, you know, when these guys call, you know, if it's a certain hearing, you're going to be heard at 7 o'clock. You know what? We work till exactly 12 o'clock, then you can go for lunch. You get an hour and a half for lunch, you come back at 1:30, we're going to stay till 5. You get paid from 8 to 5, and we're going to stay here from 8 to 5. If that's how he does it. Like my judge, I mean, we get started we call the docket at 9 o'clock. We get there at 8:30. You know, sometimes they send us stuff from presiding, so we have to be ready to go at 8:30, you know. And if we're done by, you know, 3:30, 4 o'clock, I mean, the judge is like, you know, if you're done and you don't want to work here, I know that you have records to work on, go home. Work on records there. You know, and if we get done at 11 o'clock and, you know, they don't have anything for presiding, then we have from 11 to 1:30 to go to lunch. So sometimes it works out good, sometimes it doesn't. You know, some judges, I mean, I knew one judge and he passed away, great guy. But I'll tell you what, if you needed an order signed at 4:45 on New Year's Eve, he was there. That cat was always there. Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, any of the eves. Anytime that guy got there at 8 and he left at 5. Usually he would get there at 7. But I mean, his reporter, I mean, just knew, hey man, I got to be ready to go at 8 o'clock and I know that I'm staying till 5. It's just the way it is. And he was, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Some judges do not allow their official reporters to do any freelance work, believing that outside work may distract, and that is true. You know, and I've had, you know, attorneys come up to me and say, hey man, I need to take some depositions. Would you mind taking them? No. You know, I'm pretty backed up or whatever. I mean, you know, but if I wasn't, let me ask my judge, no, you know what, I mean, you're too close to the case, or, you know, something like that. You know, you're an unbiased party, so really you're just going to take the testimony, but, you know, and my judge always told me, yeah, if you want to take them, yeah, just charge them the county rate. You know, because I didn't really know, because they have to submit a bill. You bill the attorney, then they bill the county and whatever. So we just kind of cut through the red tape, and I would go take it, and it would work out. So it's kind of up to your judge. In some jurisdictions, an official court reporter is also the judge's secretary. Sometimes a reporter may be asked to perform menial, unchallenging, and demeaning tasks. Yeah, you know, I mean, sometimes, you know, they expect you to go to some of these, you know, political functions with them, or, you know, hey man, I need you to, you know, go pick something up, or hey man, you need to give me a ride to, you know, go get my vehicle that's getting worked on, or hey man, pick me up in the morning because I need to drop off my vehicle. I mean, I guess you could say no, but I mean, you know, it's kind of your employer. So sometimes you have to do kind of ridiculous things. Travel and overnight accommodations might be required for judges who may be covering in different areas, or requiring a reporter to be away from home. Yeah, like I was telling you, I mean, sometimes they may go to that county and it may be for, you know, the whole week. So, you know, and it may not be an opportunity where you get to drive to and from every day, so you may have to stay over. Where a judge's jurisdiction is extended over a large territory, an official reporter may be required to do a great deal of driving for the judge. Yeah, and that's what this reporter would do. The judge would say, hey man, come pick me up, and we have to be at Hallettsville tomorrow morning. Okay. So I mean, you know, but they were good friends. I mean, they would drive somewhere, they'd go to lunch every day and whatever, and then they'd go home every day. But I mean, he would always pick him up. But I mean, he got paid gas mileage or whatever, so. Some stress may be involved when working on a highly publicized case with many attorneys and witnesses. Absolutely. I mean, you know, having to turn something around in 10 days and you're 2,000 pages behind, yeah, and you're working every day, yeah, it can be a little stressful. So with the good comes the bad. More exhibits are usually marked in court actions than in freelance work. The reporter might be called on to keep all exhibits marked and maintained properly throughout the trial. Absolutely. And you're the keeper of those things, and you're responsible for those things. And you know, there's a chapter where we're going to go over, and I'm going to show you how to mark exhibits and stuff like that. So, absolutely. Unless the official reporter is working on a computer or doing real-time reporting, acquiring a backlog of work that needs to be transcribed is easy to do. Reporting may be very demanding at times. Absolutely. You know, and that's what I was just talking about. So, all right. Terminology of the court reporter. We got to move a little bit quicker, guys. We're kind of.
We're gonna have to leave. Do we need to do anything for next week?
Yeah, I thought we were going to get through chapter 7, and we may not get through chapter 7. I'm going to try to get through it as much as I can. I'm going to start speeding it up a little bit. But if you can read chapters maybe 8 through 11. 8 through 11 for next week. So, all right. So objectives. Describe the different parties that make up a litigation. Explain what is meant by the pleadings in a case to define the terminology specific to the pleadings. Explain what is meant by the jurisdiction of a particular case. Explain what the venue is of a case. Explain the court calendar and court docket. List and define the different officers of the court. Discuss what constitutes a jury. Explain what a verdict is. Discuss legal proceedings that are held in the judge's chambers. Define what an ex parte hearing is, and define what an order to show cause is. Okay, the parties to an action. The different parties to an action, you always have like a plaintiff and a defendant, usually in a civil case. You know, and those are the two, you know, parties or whatever. If you come, they're also kind of known as a respondent, or the plaintiff and the respondent. So the respondent is the one who is responding to whatever is brought. So if somebody brings an action against you, then they're known as a respondent. So it's kind of like the defendant, but it's a plaintiff and the defendant, you know, stuff like that usually. Pleadings, written statements are made by each side of the lawsuit stating the various claims made and defenses thereto. So the pleadings, whenever somebody files an action against somebody, they have to file pleadings. And what the pleadings are is all it says is you know what, I'm bringing a lawsuit against you because of blah, 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 and blah. So if they don't list it in the pleadings, then they can't bring it against you. Okay, so they have to list it in the pleadings of what they're seeking against the person that they're bringing the action against. Okay? The complaint is the legal document that begins a litigation proceeding. The complaint is filed by the plaintiff and lists the various charges brought against the defendant. In a civil action, the complaint and summons are required to be served upon the defendant. In criminal matters, the complaint may be called the information. So what they have to do is they have to go down, file the lawsuit, blah, 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 and then they have to serve that person. They have to get somebody, you know, either the sheriff or somebody, a process server, to go and serve that paperwork on that person. You can't just mail it or whatever. You have to file it. I mean, you have to get it served on that person. Okay? The answer is the formal document that the defendant furnishes the plaintiff in response to the original complaint. The answer either admits or denies the charges made in the complaint set forth in the defendant's defense to the allegations. One of the paragraphs of an answer might be for a request for a particularized account of the charges made on a request for a bill of particulars. So when they file it against you, you have so many days to file an answer and say, you know what, that's not true. Or, you know what, yeah, that is true, but it's not exactly the way that it happened. So you have to file an answer. Or, you know, your attorney files an answer to, you know, to the charges saying, no, that's not true. And, you know, we need to have a hearing. Or, yes, it is kind of true, but I want to put on my side of the case. It's not exactly the way that it happened. The demurrer is a formal legal document made by defendant to the plaintiff that admits the matters alleged in the complaint. However, it in effect says that the charges are insufficient and that the defendant cannot or will not answer the complaint. In essence, the demurrer disputes its sufficiency in law of the complaint. In some states, a demurrer has been replaced by motions by counsel and court orders to clarify points of law before proceeding before any litigation. Okay? Did y'all get that? The bill of particulars is a formal document made by the plaintiff as a request of the defendant, which spells out in greater detail the charges set forth in the complaint. So what they're doing, I mean, it's pretty much what it says. It's a particular thing that says exactly what they're bringing against you. So that's what the bill of particular is. It's just, you know, setting out